Hey everybody, it's Bruno on MB, where it all can't be serious, and today we have a bit of an international flair to everything. So if you brought your bikinis and your suntan lotion, or folks who work out of here in Calgary but happen to be in the beautiful place called Trinidad, how are we doing, Elisa?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good. Happy to be here. Happy to be on your show, Bruno. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thanks for being on the show. And my good friend Gabrielle, comment ça va?
Well, it's a little bit warmer here.
It is. It is. You know what? Yeah, we don't talk about the weather on this one, but right off the bat, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. You guys are standing really nice and attention. We're gonna get you guys grooving and moving here a little bit, but let's talk about. We have our little thumbnail here about Trinidad being a powerhouse. So why don't we start off by saying that a lot of people know Trinidad, but they don't know them as a powerhouse.
Yeah, actually, Trinidad has been an industrialized country for over a century, right? We are a big producer of sugar, cocoa, oil, natural gas, and some interesting tidbits. During World War II, the largest refinery in the world was in Trinidad and Tobago, owned by Texaco. And the refined products were used to fuel the Allied forces in Europe. So the Americans had a very large base. There were a lot of U-boats off of the coast of Trinidad, a lot of fighting to protect the ships moving from Trinidad, the fuel out. So we've been an industrialized country for a very long time. And then from oil, we moved into natural gas, where we currently are the largest exporter of ammonia and methanol globally. And up until 10 years ago, we were the fourth largest exporter of LNG. So much so that before the shale gas revolution in the US, we were the US imported 75% of their LNG from Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, because of the expansion of the shale gas in the US, we know about LNG Canada as well, which is going to be very large. We are still right now the seventh largest exporter of LNG globally. So we are a powerhouse in the hydrocarbon sector. And right now we realize we have a significant talent pool that services that industry, spanning all industries, not just oil and gas, but the financing behind it, the insurance behind it, the medical facilities behind it, every aspect of it. And we're bringing that talent to Calgary and to Canada in certain new areas, especially regards to GHG measurement, reporting, and so on, because we're all passionate about, how do we practically deal with carbon emissions.
Well, hold on. You're not coming to Canada. You're coming back to Calgary, or sorry, to Canada, because you guys already do work in Canada.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have several clients in Canada that we service. And we, I've been to Calgary so many times. It's almost like a second home. A lot of folks don't realize in Calgary that there's a Trinidad and Tobago club that's been around for 75 years. So Trinidad has a very rich history because of the connection of oil and gas. Yeah.
That club is actually not too far from my house, actually. It's just up the hill. Everything out here is hilly, which is really nice. But so Lisa, why don't you let us know a little bit about Blewstream? And you spell it BLEW.
Correct.
For win.
Correct. For win every time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Blewstream Group is actually a global professional services firm. We access a wide talent pool of highly skilled individuals, and we create strategic business growth for companies by offering a significant reduction cost to their services. I would say that the pain point of the accounting shortage in the US and in Canada, and Monty could tell you a little bit more about that, is not actually the deal maker for us. The deal maker for us is our approach with companies. We have a truly collaborative approach with them that's bespoke, that's transparent, where we prioritize business integrity, productivity, efficiency, accountability. And that really contributes to taking businesses to another level in terms of their business growth. The BLEW stands for Balance, Life, Equitable Work. And that really is sort of like the foundation for us as individuals in this business. It's the foundation for us as a team. And we've taken that out into the services that we provide, not just to our clients, but to our wider community as well. Gabrielle might be able to tell you a little bit more about, how much we value our contribution to our community here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. Hold on, it's my show.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
take it
ask
back.
Gabrielle, okay?
Yeah. Okay, I take it back.
That's okay. We just -1 on the red card here. I'm just joking. And for our viewers out there, just so that you know, these folks and we just have way too much fun. So, Gabrielle, thank you, Lisa. That was awesome. Gabrielle, tell us a little bit more.
Hi, Bruno.
Hello.
So Blewstream is really dedicated to giving back to our country and our society. And how we do that is by empowering young people in the workplace. So we are firm believers that if you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, he will eat for the rest of his life. So that's really the approach that we take here at Blewstream. We educate and then empower in the workplace. And it's a message that it's really close to home for me, working with kids for my whole life. So I think that it's really what makes us strong and sustainable.
Well, before we go, I don't want to pass that point, because this point is very important with your whole DNA at Blewstream, okay? To be clear, it's not that you encourage the youth that works just with your company and the women, and it's outside of the company. You encourage them if they're lacking some gaps, right? Can you guys explain that? Maybe spend a few minutes, because it's not just
Absolutely.
internal.
No, that's not, no, definitely not just internal. Just a little background, Blewstream was, founded by pretty much accountants from the Ernst & Young. So my colleague, my co-chairman, who will be in Calgary as well, he was the managing partner for Ernst & Young Caribbean, head of the audit. I was an auditor in the oil and gas areas based in London and Trinidad. Our commercial operation managers, ex-EY, so very much audit centric, and we understand how the audit firms evolved. So we are essentially a smaller Big Four firm, and we learned through our years within the industry that how you develop younger professionals, and that's very important, is very important. And we are taking a much slightly different approach in terms of a holistic view to the development of individuals. So it's not just technical, it's actually psychosocial, it's actually how do you etiquette training and so on. So you prepare them for life, right? We also know that the stream part of blue, it means it's evolving. Water that's stagnant is never good. It's a stream, it keeps flowing. And that's important. And professionals come into organizations and they may not stay for their entire life. That was our grandparents' era. So we prepare them for whatever they want to do in 10, 15 years or even shorter. And our system is built for that continuous movement while still providing a professional quality service to our team, because we have a very experienced executive and management team, and we build that into our system. So that's what we are about essentially. And we realize the model is replicable in any part of the world, right? And that's the beauty about it. It doesn't mean it's only Trinidadians. We have an office in Philippines. We have an office in Calgary. We love to develop youth all over as well. So it's a model that's replicable. And we have the what do you call it? The fine print of how we do it, based on our past experiences.
Let's spend a few minutes on, I know that it can't all be serious. Trust me, we'll have fun. We've already had way too much fun before. But I want to spend a little bit of time on this, because I want to make sure that our viewers out there, with your specialty that you bring to the table and the big problem you solve for a lot of corporate clients, when you bring in, and we call it, you guys call it, the youth and female empowerment and development, you're not bringing somebody that, for no offensive reason at all, have no skills. Trinidad has the highest per capita accounting graduating classes, or accountants, period, right? So you're bringing people that are already educated at a very, very high level, but are missing a few gaps. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
So there's a continuity model that we've developed where we have a lot of talented people that are already in that pipeline. And how do we make that pipeline truly robust? There's a term that's been coined called stranded brilliance, which is that all our brains are wired for brilliance. And how do we capture that in young people who are graduating from high school, are looking for an opportunity to get into the workplace that really has a sustainable financial narrative to support them, in addition to skills development? Because people aren't just looking for somebody who is qualified. They're looking for someone who actually is coming with a work ethic and who has an attitude and an aptitude that's going to bring value to the workplace. And that's how we've set up this framework to say, let's go to the high schools and see who are the young people that want to come in and join us on this trajectory that we have created, where there's the demand for them, and we're going to close that skills gap. So the stranded brilliance no longer is stranded. It has a home to.
Not only do I think that's brilliant, but I've already told you that's the name of our third album with the ZBs.
Yeah.
It's called Stranded Brilliance. And our opening concert, which by the way, we've never played live, will be in Trinidad during carnival season, and that will turn heads.
And we've all auditioned to be your backup singers already.
No, not all. No, come here. These two, not me. Yeah. I didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Monty, I've heard you sing. You could be in our band. Trust
You've never heard me sing. Trust me. I don't know what you're talking about at all. Yeah. At all. Yeah.
Lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's the deleted footage of that? Yeah. Yeah.
where were we? But you know, the truth of the matter is most of the people out there, they kind of view reporting and conforming and governance and IFRS and MOUSC and all that kind of stuff as, you know, kind of like, why do I need to know this? And I personally am interested in this because in order for you to run any company, public or publicly traded, or, you know, small business, large business, this is something you're going to have to deal with anyways. So forget about which side of the spectrum you're on. Now, we understand how you deliver it with your, you know, your stranded brilliance that becomes even more brilliant. And but give us in this episode, because we're going to come back to the second one, but give us one main problem that you solve corporately.
Okay. So one, actually, there is a lack of the accounting profession is decreasing the number of folks going into it at a large scale. In the US is short about 500,000 accountants, right? The number of people doing CPAs are decreasing. And post-COVID, what you saw is the great resignation, where a lot of the older folks have come out of the profession. What we have realized is that is now creating a real challenge for businesses, both auditors and companies, as to where do you recruit and retain staff. The old model was everyone will do a CPA, which is still required, but folks right below, you need specific skills, like for example, an accounts payable, an accounts receivable. Those basic skills are the layers as to what we're training our younger folks on. They're coming in with an accounting background, and we layer these specific skills where they start at that level where qualified accountants just don't want to do, right, in North America. So that's where we're entering, and then we have the very experienced on top that mentors and ensure quality assurance in delivering to the clients that deal to that pain point at a cost that is significantly less than what you're seeing in North America. And the last point is, I think equally important we saw, is that we are an extension of your office. You know, the world is borderless. Right? You have offices headquartered in Vancouver with staff working in Toronto, right? Or you have staff headquartered in Toronto, based in Calgary. That's a 4 to 5 hour flight. That's the same time difference between Trinidad and Canada, Trinidad and Toronto, or Trinidad and Calgary, right? So we could be in the office, and for our other clients, you know, staff go and spend a week every month. So you bridge that social, that social interaction and getting to know everyone quite well in a true hybrid, you know, environment where we extension. And that's been working extremely well with our clients. in Canada, and in the US. And that's the differentiated model.
That's, that's good. We're going to touch on that. However, we want to, before we get into it, we're going to come back for a second episode. But before we do this, people want to know why they're coming back. They want to get to know you guys a little bit. So why don't we start off with Gabrielle, who's been kind of quiet on this one. Maybe we'll get her to sing again, but one of these days.
She's an excellent singer.
Yeah.
She's a frontline singer. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. No. If Gabrielle or any of you would be our frontline singer, we'd actually probably be famous. But anyways, Gabrielle, tell us a little bit about you, and we're going to go around the crowd here and see what you guys are all about.
Just really quickly, I'm the client relationship manager here at Blewstream. I pride myself on listening to my clients, advocating for my clients, and acting for my clients and on their behalf. And that's just a bit about me, really.
Perfect. So how did you get involved with Blewstream?
I'm the newest member of this Blewstream team right here. I'm the baby of the group, so I'm still in the learning phase. But when they explained to me the sustainability model and giving back to our youth and also to our environment, and that's coming up, I really felt that this was a message and a company that I had to get involved with.
That's awesome. We've been interacting. Now, we forgot to say this. Boom, 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 3 times. You guys are going to be in you guys are in Calgary, but you're going to be in Calgary, the next Power Network group. We like to evergreen our episodes. This one here, we're going to timestamp it a little bit, but November 17th, 2023, it's sold out already. And you will be giving, not just you, Monty, but you have 2 other speakers, right, Gabrielle?
That's right. We have Joelle Monty Palmerston. We have Nicholas Gomez and Frank Tilak-Singh, and they're going to be addressing the PNG event in Calgary on November 17th at 4 p.m.
And that's going to be at the Sheridan Cavalier, and it's going to be a fully hosted show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be honest with you. Frank's got a very unique name, and in my neighborhood, it would just be called Frankie T. Okay, good old Frankie T. All right,
you just made him Italian.
There you go. He's handsome enough to be Italian. Come on, let's face it. So Lisa, why don't you let us know briefly a little bit about you and what instrument you play and songs you sing.
What instrument I play? So I have my career has always been about startups, entrepreneurship. So I have a background of SME and what it takes to be, to get something off the ground from nothing. I brought that to the table together with a lot of project management experience in working with young people. So I am really driven to support our graduate training program. That is something that's near and dear to me. What really syncs with me and Blewstream is the ethos of the balanced life, equitable work. I think the energy that you have at home, you bring into your workplace, the energy in your workplace, you take back at home. And when you speak to everyone that works here, we all have a narrative of meandering towards success. So we do very courageous things like change careers, raise our children singly, travel abroad. I mean, all of us have lived abroad for significant periods of time. So we bring back a host of like cultural and international experience. And that kind of wide perspective and underlines how we define success. And the definition of success for us is very personal, and we come back grounded to that all the time, in that we want to make a qualified difference.
Well, the other thing that, I learned about you and Trinidad is chocolate from Trinidad and tea from Hawaii. So maybe on our second episode, we'll talk about that. And Monty, last but not least, and if you look up Monty, is on LinkedIn, I think it's Joel, right? Monty is your middle name, right? That's your stage name.
I didn't come up with it.
An alter ego.
My alter ego. It's not equal Monty, by the way. It's not equal Monty. Not for this episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, it's Montgomery. if you want to be very British.
Yeah.
And my parents and my father, in his wisdom, named me after General Montgomery. The only one thing I have in common with him is his height. So that's why Monty is short for Montgomery, by the way. And everyone calls me Monty. I don't go by Joel at all. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Chartered accountant by background, with Ernst & Young. Spent a lot of time in London, EY London, in the energy, chemicals, and utility business, where I was the global audit manager for BP, about 20 years ago. And I moved back to Trinidad maybe about 15 years ago, and started up with a small E&P company, exploration and production company, as the CFO. Became the CEO at age 31. I then rebranded it to Trinity, and then I listed that on the London Stock Exchange via something called a reverse takeover, private taking over a public company. We raised 100 million US, quite successful. That company is still listed on the stock exchange. I then exited that company and I founded my own gas company, and we raised 300 million US. And we did one of the fastest gas development projects, certainly within this region. It's an offshore project, and essentially we brought a offshore undeveloped field, gas field into production and supplied the methanol plants. I sold that company off 2 years ago. The reason being is I wanted to sort of change. I had an epiphany during COVID, and I wanted to do something different in my life. When my youngest son said, "Dad, you're polluting the earth," I was like, "Son, it pays for your toys," right? But that didn't go wrong with him. So I realized I need to change my outlook, and how do you sort of manage the transition over the next 30, 50 years, and how do we hand over a baton that makes sense to the younger generation? And that sort of flipped my mindset as to we can't change immediately, but we need to do things differently. And new business models have been created. And that's when Blewstream sort of came up with a very modern new business model that will be sustainable, practical or pragmatic and realistic in terms of what we do and how we deliver services to our clients and our wider stakeholder group. So that's what I'm very passionate about. I'm involved and I'm the chairman of the largest NGO for youth development in the Caribbean region. I was a former director of the largest financial institution in the Caribbean, chairman of the audit committee. Sat on the boards of the energy chamber, all the chambers. So sort of mixed experience, mixed bag. But really enjoy sort of developing this team and globalizing this product in a borderless way.
Very interesting background. The one thing that I'll maybe leave our audience with, and your audience, is the international blended workforce that you bring to the table. Even though you're just today, all three of you are strategically in Trinidad with the weather we're having today, strategically. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do work in Toronto, that area, not just Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver, some of your clients are there. But what I like about what I think is valuable is the international blended workforce. So it's you employ people from Canada, but also if you have to go find or go into your workforce that's international, you can kind of transplant them for a specific skill that's not available. Is that correct?
Correct. So what we do is we help develop these specific skills that are required for our clients, not just having generic degrees. Our view of the world is that, the world is slightly moving away from generic degrees to folks and companies want skills to do the actual work that's required, right? So like in accounting, you need to get accounts payable done, right? We have very, very specific skills on that, on AR, receivable management, working capital management, preparing your accounts. We do audit work as well. We have tax work. So very, very specific, clear, and we're very clear on that in terms of bridging the skills gap that's required. And that's what we're seeing. Very interesting statistic. I think it's Harvard, where 5 years ago, parents and students in about 89%, that study was done about a year ago, it's now at 49%. So really it's homing in on the skills that are required to take humanity forward. And it's not necessarily all degrees. I mean, to be a doctor, you need a degree. But to do accounts payable, you need skill.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting world we live in right now, from a reporting standard and having the right resources available, because your deadlines are your deadlines. So speaking about deadlines, we're kind of done for this episode. I'm hoping it comes out the right way. I'm known for my technical difficulties, but this one worked out really well. I really appreciate you making time. And you guys are coming back for the second one?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bruno. Bye.
Bye, Bruno. Enjoyed it.